Good evening. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Wendell Board of Commissioners, and welcome. We're so happy to have all of you here with us tonight. We have some special guests here we're going to talk to in a little bit. We're going to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Police Chief John Slaughter.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For our invocation tonight from the Wendell Council of Churches, we're going to hear from Minister Cynthia Braswell from Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. Good evening, and thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Good evening to everyone.
Ma'am.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we welcome your presence in this town board meeting and thank you for the opportunity to gather and serve. We pray that your peace and prosperity will reign in Wendell and that you will bless the families, businesses, churches, and individuals who make up this town. We pray for your blessings upon everyone assembled here, and thank you for each board member who dedicate their time and energy to the well-being of the citizens of Wendell. Guide them in their work to create a thriving and vibrant place for all to live, work, and raise families. We pray for your wisdom upon each board member to make decisions that are just, fair, and equitable for all members of the Wendell community. May your spirit of unity and cooperation be present in their discussions tonight, enabling them to work together with mutual respect and understanding for the betterment of the town of Wendell and its residents. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you again. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. All right, we'll move into our public comment period. The public can participate in the public comment by signing up at the door on the night of the town board meeting, and you have 3 minutes to speak, or you can submit written comments to the town clerk by 5 p.m. on Friday prior to our Monday meeting, and they will be read into the minutes for a length of 3 minutes. Submit your name and your address, please, and the number that you're interested in as well. That's very helpful. Tonight we have one person, James Lindley, I believe. Okay, come up here, sir. And state your name and address, please, for the record. Thank
James
you.
Lindley, 1944 Bright Cannon, Wendell Falls, North Carolina. How y'all doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
My thanks to the council for allowing me to speak, but I must say that I and many of my fellow cart owners are extremely disappointed by the actions of the council and its new policies regarding the new golf cart permitting. So for a moment, let's put this policy into perspective. I own 3 vehicles, and I pay a yearly license fee of $61.25 apiece for them to make me allowed to drive on any road in the country, and the state does not ask me to pay for 3 years in advance. But yes, I agree golf carts are different, and many communities treat them as such. Holly Spring charges its golf cart owners $50 for the first year and $20 thereafter. China Grove charges $50 for the first year and $10 for each year thereafter. And Emerald Isle charges $100 for a golf cart permit, but it's $75 if you take the safety course. Yet none of these communities ask you to pay for 3 years in advance. That brings us back to Wendell, who charges $100 per year, but you may pay $300 or 3 years in advance. If I sell my cart, I'm out the $300, but the new owner gets a freebie if they live in Wendell Falls. If I trade my cart for a new one, I guess I'm out $300, plus another $300 for the new one, since no written policy seems to say otherwise. So tell me again how this is not a money grab. I'm told that this is all for convenience, but I'm not sure. Perhaps it's for who? Perhaps it's for the convenience of the police, but since inspections will stop, what does that have to do with paying 3 years in advance? Maybe it's for the convenience of the town of Wendell, since we all know how difficult it is to take $100 every year. That sounds like a job I want. Just send me $100 every year. I guess the IRS hasn't figured out that this is a great idea, or we could all start paying our taxes 3 years at a time. Just think how efficient and money-saving that would be for them. So just so I'm clear, the town of Wendell saves money on clerical expenses by taking money from card owners just once every 3 years. And the police department saves money because of no more inspections. While we get the dubious honor and expense of paying for 3 years in advance. How convenient for me. A lot can happen in 3 years. People move, people sell their carts, and God forbid people even die.
Mr.
But
Lindley,
rest assured,
your time has
at
expired.
least the cart permit is paid for.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
We'll move into section 4, our recognitions, reports, and presentations. Item 4A is the June 2025 monthly financial report. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Johnson? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, item 4B is the Wendell Police Department drone program. Chief Slaughter? You're not Chief Slaughter.
I'm not. Hi, I'm Sergeant Williams with the Wendell Police Department. Madam Mayor, Town Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity to talk about this new technology we've got for the town and for its citizens. We were able to purchase a couple drones and start our drone program. And you've all been given the policy. The policy provides guidelines for authorization of use, including conditions and limitations. Additionally, this policy will outline the qualifications, training, and equipment for the UAS program. That includes usage of the drones as governed by the federal and state laws, defines best practices through our CALIA accreditation, specifies the appropriate use of the drones, details pilot qualifications and requirements, outlines our maintenance program, and also the documentation of the drone use. So there's 4 main reasons we would use a drone. First and foremost, locating missing and endangered individuals. Then locating suspects who may have attempted to evade arrest. We could also use them for traffic crash and crime scene reconstructions. And then lastly, overwatch during special operations. Some of the capabilities of these drones, they have FLIR cameras that work using sensors that detects heat being emitted. They also have LiDAR capabilities which give accurate distance from the drone to target, which also correlates from the ground below the drone to the target. And then they have digital telephoto zooms on the cameras that give the operator a superior advantage to see detail from a safe distance, keeping everybody safe. So the main reason we would like to utilize these is locating missing and endangered individuals. Within our community, we have several schools, daycare centers, group homes, and other households. And sometimes people from these places walk off and they might not have the ability to find their way back home. We've received calls like that in the past. Using the drones, we'll be able to assist in locating the missing and endangered people quickly and efficiently, especially in the heat like it is now or the cold it gets. It's imperative. Locating suspects that have attempted to evade arrest. Unfortunately, that happens sometimes. So drones will provide a safe aerial view of the search area, protecting officers that are looking, and help locate the suspect for safe apprehension. It gives us a better area to focus our search during that time, so we're not just wasting time and resources places where the person isn't. And it reduces the amount of resources normally needed in locating the suspect. Traffic crash and crime scene reconstruction, using aerial photographs and videos of the crash scenes that are otherwise unavailable without use of a drone. Investigators can make a 3D rendering of the scene. This ability is incredibly beneficial for cases that involve fatalities or serious injuries. We could take that aerial photographs of the crash to help in determination the cause of the crash, the speed, other environmental conditions at the time. And then overwatch during special operations. Keeping watch over the community events gives those in the Emergency Operations Center an idea of the crowd size and the traffic flow. Our July 2nd event that we held. During the high-risk operations, drones can be utilized as overwatch, alerting officers on the ground of potential risk and or the suspect's flight. And drones can relay information that could save lives of officers, citizens, and even the offenders that we're trying to apprehend. And so with this program, we're looking ahead, strengthening public safety with cutting-edge tools, enhancing response times and operational effectiveness, fostering a strong community through trust, through transparency and engagement, and attracting top-tier officers committed to innovation and service. So it makes the department more attractive to potential applicants that might be looking for something neat, I guess. So I just want to thank you guys for your support, for what you do for the police department. And we are proud to lead the way in community-focused, technology-driven law enforcement to build a safer Wendell.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions from the board? Thank you for coming out and doing the demonstration. I was watching from the shade over
That
there.
was smart.
I did say I wasn't going to walk out there, but I did go stand in the shade or sit in the shade. So,
Well, if you have any questions,
cool to
come and
watch.
see us.
thank you. All right, item 4C is our safety program policy, and we're going to hear from our summer intern, Matthew Pennington. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Matthew Pennington. I'm a Master's of Public Administration student at Appalachian State University. And as you know, I've been interning with the town this summer, and I've been working on updating the town's safety policy, which is what I'll be presenting to you tonight. Quick introduction, objective of the project. The last up-to-date safety policy the town had in file was approved April 26, 2018. And obviously since then a lot has changed. The town has experienced substantial staffing growth and changes both structurally and socially. Through comparative analysis and comprehensive research, the town's safety policy needed to be reviewed and updated, which is what I've gone in and done, as well as developed a completed draft and updated safety policy for the town to review, approve, and implement. A little bit about my work process on this whole project. I began by developing an actionable timeline, which allowed me to ensure that the updated safety policy was developed in an appropriate and timely manner, as to not skip over any safety concerns or needs that maybe one in department may have brought up. I also established points of contact with the statewide municipalities to request up-to-date safety policies and any other supplemental documents that would go with a municipal safety policy, and this would be my basis for my comparative analysis, as well as contacting internal stakeholders and departments to determine their specific needs and make sure that their needs are addressed and their safety concerns are addressed in the updated policy. Finally, I performed comprehensive research on federal and state programs to ensure that the updated safety policy complied with federal, state, and local laws and regulations. And after all that, I was finally able to develop and finalize an updated safety policy after meeting with management teams several times. Here is a list of my sources I used, both from the comparative analysis standpoint and the comprehensive research standpoint. For comparative analysis, I looked at safety policies from the following municipalities: the town of Farmville, the town of Morrisville, the city of Durham, the town of Gardner, the town of Rollsville, the town of Zebulon, the town of Matthews, and the village of Clemens. All these municipalities are either similar size or larger to project for the growth. And for comparative comprehensive research, I looked at the example programs from the North Carolina Department of Labor, which essentially is just a list of potential programs and sections that could be included in either public, private, or any organizational safety policy, as well as the general industries and laws and regulations from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to ensure that this updated safety policy complied with federal laws. And as mentioned prior, I did communicate with internal stakeholders such as the police department, public works department, and Parks and Recreation Department. Quick safety policy brief overview. Purpose. A municipality establishes a safety policy to communicate its safety standards to all its employees and eliminate and or mitigate any incident losses that could affect the town employees, town property, and even the public. The town also establishes safety policy to ensure compliance, again, with federal, state, and whatever local laws and regulations are in place to better establish a safer workplace and prepare for any inspections that come further. Finally, a safety policy asserts responsibilities, routine operations, disciplinary action, and rules and procedures, basically adding layers of accountability for the town to ensure that the workplace is safe and for the municipality to take a proactive loss position in terms of safety standards. The municipal safety policy applies to all employees and facilities within that given municipality, as well as resources and operations of the municipality. As we'll see later, department-specific policies and procedures should be established separate from general safety policies, but it's important to note that they hold equal importance as the general policy. And finally, a good little bit here, the town manager is solely responsible for approving and implementing the safety policy. Getting into the individual sections of the updated policy, the policy opens up with a introduction section, which basically covers purpose and scope, kind of what I just covered, but as it applies to the town of Wendell and Wendell's needs. This moves into the responsibilities section, which establishes lines of accountability and covers the roles and responsibilities of personnel within the town of Wendell. An example from this section would be this: the safety policy establishes a safety committee, which will function as the advisory body to develop and make recommendations on matters of policy procedures affecting the town of Wendell safety policy, essentially overseeing the safety policy after it's been implemented and amended if necessary. Moving into the operations section, this section covers the activities and efforts the town will undertake to effectively maintain and comply with federal and state and local safety standards. An example from this section would be that the town safety policy establishes baseline regular safety training standards such as good housekeeping procedures, CPR and first aid use, and development of safety attitudes and awareness. That segues into the discipline section, which kind of speaks for itself, but it details methods and procedures for correcting any violation to the sound safety policy. As mentioned prior, there's layers of accountability in a safety policy, and this section kind of establishes that accountability, particularly when safety standards are not upheld. And kind of the meat and potatoes of the safety policy is the safety rules and procedures, which outlines the rules and procedures for all municipal employees and provides reference to police, public works, and parks and recreation departments' standard operation and procedure. As you can see on this section, there's general rules and procedures for municipal employees and general rules and procedures for those three individual departments. While it's important to establish a general set of rules for all municipal employees to abide by, attention has to be brought to those three specific departments and departments in general because their operations vary from each department. And one general rule set might not always meet their needs, and there might be gaps that need to be filled with specific standard operations, which is why they're included and referenced in this section. There's also some typical hazards and exposures that occur in the day-to-day of operation, which are covered in this additional safety rules and procedures. Moving into the highlights of kind of the takeaways from the 2018 policy to the today policy or updated policy. From policy changes, which are basically parts of the policy that remained essentially the same, but either saw some structural changes or minor additions. These sections, such as responsibilities, saw some structural changes and some minor additions made to each subsection. Regular safety training, which in the 2018 policy was combined with new employee measures, is now separate. They're each their own individual section, and there was a complete rewording of regular safety training, of the content in there based on the comparative analysis research. Inspections also went through some structural changes, and there was one minor addition which noted that continuous inspections are a requirement of all town employees. And the discipline section also underwent some structural changes and some minor additions that came from the comparative analysis to better emphasize disciplinary action and better emphasize that layer of accountability that should be present in safety policy. Some more policy changes. General rules and procedures for municipal employees went through some structural changes, but relatively maintained the same content. Bloodborne pathogens, which is a section within the additional rules and procedures, went through structural changes, and there were some minor additions that were supported by the research on the comparative analysis and Department of Labor's policies. Oh, I'm on the wrong slide. There we go. And personal protection and work control practices saw some structural changes, and there was one section in there that was removed and given its own, which I'll see in a second. Policy additions, which will largely be completely new policy additions to the updated policy. As I spoke prior, the introduction section, which covers purpose and scope, and as the safety policy applies to the town of Wendell. Again, also as I spoke prior, the regular safety training section now has its own section and covers what organization-wide and job-specific training may include. Similarly, the new employee measures, which was combined with regular safety training, now has its own section and details new employee responsibilities and requirements for completing safety orientation. The final policy additions seen here, in the 2018 policy, there was no reference. The police department was the only department specifically referenced to their standard operations and procedures. So in the updated policy, there's now a reference to Public Works and Parks and Recreation standard operational procedure. And again, the additional safety standards and procedures all these sections were added based off the comparative analysis and the state and federal research. Following sections were personal protective equipment, hazard communication, hand and portable power tools, fire prevention, emergency action plan, confined spaces, and walking working surfaces. Moving forward, an updated safety policy needs to be implemented and approved by the town manager. I note that consistent communication should also be maintained with the North Carolina League of Municipalities, as that is the town's insurance providers in regards to safety policy. And I also note that consistent communication should be maintained with internal departments as their needs change and the world changes around us. That's my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions from the board?
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of this learning exercise is you can't just give a
course.
presentation and sit
I
down. So
expected
I'm
it.
not, these are real questions, but also please know that your answer can be, you don't always have to
Absolutely.
answer the question. If you don't have an answer, it's okay. We can get those answered later. Two big things. One, in the discipline section, appreciate you touching on that several times in the presentation. It is pretty rigid, like those progressive discipline steps that are prescribed in the policy. So my question was sort of how that aligns with overall disciplinary policies for town staff, but also the first thing that that came to my mind is like some room for managerial, I don't know, flexibility is not even really the word I want, because I want to hold people accountable when they're not doing things correctly, but you never know a situation. Things can vary so much. Can you talk about that a little bit, or what you have in mind there?
I can't really answer that question.
It's okay.
I'm not quite sure. I do know that section was pretty much maintained the same from the 2018 policy. So
Okay.
whatever was in place for whatever it may be.
Another helpful part of these processes is it gets fresh eyes on things that have existed in the past, if you have anything, Mark. But
Yeah, I would just say that before I sign off on a final policy, I'll proof that versus our personnel policy and make sure they're in alignment so everybody's treated equally under the two rules.
perfect. And the second thing is the safety committee itself. I did not know we had a safety committee, so I'm not speaking to you as a particularly informed person. But I do, in sort of comparing the current and former version, it looked like the governance structure of the safety committee that previously existed was a little bit less prescribed in the updated version. And if I missed it, which is number one, very possible, but is there an intention to sort of change the way that that works, or is that just ensuring that there's the flexibility from a management perspective to make it work as well as it can, as opposed to department-specific representation?
Yeah, I can't speak to the specifics on that, but I would
Okay.
imagine it's flexible.
Okay.
Because that policy also, or that section of the policy also remained pretty similar.
Okay. Appreciate all your work on this.
Absolutely. Thank you for the questions.
Anyone else?
I have one.
Yep.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And Dean's, it's maybe the same that you had, and I'm going to bring your attention to this particular one, an employee's unsafe act which results in. And I guess my question is, if this is our language or is consistent with other city language or municipality languages, let me know. But my thought was it was too lenient. Like I certainly want to give the town manager the flexibility to do whatever, but, and from a town attorney standpoint, I didn't want to telegraph the options. And I'll just give you this for a second. First at fault occurrence, and this is if a vehicle or other property is damaged, requiring disciplinary action. Second at fault, third at fault, fourth at fault within a 3-year period. In my mind, I thought 3 strikes would be a plenty if you're damaging town assets. So again, I'm just wondering, do we want to have that rigid, or should there be, to your discretion? And I know it says at the bottom you could give any of those any time, but then I hate to say, hey, here, for example, here's an.
The personnel policy has some other stipulations that if there are mitigating factors beyond just a simple collision, that I can take into account to take appropriate personnel action based on individual actions. Each thing is its own incident that has to be weighed based on the merits, just like any other case.
Okay, let me ask one follow-up to that. And I guess my follow-up was, let's assume in the worst case, something happened, you had to make a decision, and the individual then wants to come back and sue the town. Does this put us in a situation where, hey, that was only my first time, but yet I got the 4th time treatment? And I get there's mitigation, but should we telegraph this or just give you more?
I think that goes back to, before I sign a final version of a policy, I want to make sure it's consistent with our personnel policy. That'll be reviewed by the town attorney.
That makes me feel very good. Thank you.
Anything, Joe?
I was a comment, thank you, appreciate it. And,
Thank you.
Spent a lot of time here at meetings, and that's always appreciated. We'll certainly put a lot of time and effort into this.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew.
Good App State proud.
It's been a pleasure having you here with us this summer.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're very welcome. I look forward to all the great things you're going to accomplish. All right, let's move into Section 5, our public hearings. Item 5A is a public hearing to consider an ordinance to designate the American Legion Cedric Harris Post 148 at 5100 Wendell Boulevard as a Wendell Historic Landmark.
Yep.
Mr. Coates.
Yep. Good evening, Mayor and board members. We're asking you tonight to hold the public hearing and consider adopting the attached ordinance. As the mayor, as you just mentioned, it is a historic landmark proposal at 5100 Wendell Boulevard, which is for the American Legion Cedric Harris Post 148. The property is in the town's ETJ. For reference, Wake County Historic Preservation Commission at their meeting on June 10th did recommend approval. To explain our relationship, the town, like many other towns in Wake County, relies on the Wake County Historic Preservation Commission for our historic reviews. Capital Area Preservation, which will come up and talk about the project and the site, has a contract to manage the Preservation Commission for Wake County. And so our relationship is we have one with Capital Area Preservation for historic preservation services at times, and also we do work closely with the Wake County Historic Commission. So Jeremy Bradham is here from Capital Area Preservation. I also know there are members of the American Legion who I'm sure want to speak on the building. And so I'll turn it over to Jeremy to give a presentation, and then we will open the public hearing for public comment as well.
Okay.
Evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. As Brian mentioned, I'm no longer the preservation specialist. I actually just got a new title. I'm the preservation program manager now at CAP. So I've been doing this. This is actually the first one that I've done in Wendell, and then we've done. It's been quite a while. You might be familiar with some of the other landmarks. You've got 102 South Main Street, Hales Tunnelbaum House, Keith Ackery's house, and then the Airplane Bungalow on Wendell Boulevard that was Nora Cambier's house for a while. So it's good to come back to Wendell and spread some love to recognize Wendell's historic resources. As Brian already mentioned, the address is 5100 Wendell Boulevard. The owners are the American Legion 148 Post. I'll give you a little site view from above right here to show you the buildings that are obviously contributing, the historic structure itself and the non-contributing structures and its location there on Wendell Boulevard. The log building faces northwest and is set back 75 feet from the road and lies on the east side of Wendell Boulevard. The Little River lies approximately 500 feet just north of the building, and it runs roughly north to south and crosses under Wendell Boulevard. Just east of its intersection was Zebulon Road. The built environment still is remotely residential. I know that's going to change in the near future, but that's why it was important for landmark designation of this building. It occupies a sloped 1.98 acre elongated rectangular parcel. It begins underneath the front of the log building and slopes all the way down to the rear, exposing its structural stones for its foundation, which you'll see in a second. So I'll give you a little background. The American Legion is a veterans organization founded by an act of Congress in 1919 after World War I to provide and support services to veterans. They quickly expanded to fundraising not only for veteran services, but also for children's foundations, natural disaster relief, the Red Cross, and the American Heart Association. With over 1.6 million members and more than 12,000 posts worldwide, the Legion fights to end veteran suicide and treats service-related post-traumatic stress disorder by providing services and public engagement to promote mental health care for those who have served. The Legion has also lobbied the U.S. government for better care for veterans, such as increases in disability compensation during its first year, raising awareness for PTSD since the 1920s, I guess I'm going to have to start saying that now, and drafting the GI Bill in 1947 that provided higher education and other opportunities for veterans. The American Legion Cedric Hare Post 148, it's known by its members affectionately as the Hut. It was first chartered in 1923 by 15 residents here in Wendell. The first members were World War I veterans who named the post after Second Lieutenant Edward Cedric Harris, a Henderson, North Carolina native of a machine gun company in the 321st Infantry Regiment Division of the 81st Air Division, American Expeditionary Forces. Harris was severely wounded and died on November 11th, 1918. If you know your history, that's a bad day. It's the day that World War I ended. So that's why we celebrate Veterans Day on the 11th. So it was named in his honor. He actually died in Grimacourt, France, while covering for his wounded comrades as they fled from enemy fire. This local chapter saw the construction of the log post building shortly thereafter. There's indications that it wasn't officially completed until 1940. There are some discrepancies, but we do know it's one of the earlier civic buildings associated with the Legion here in Wake County. But it was completed around 1940 using donated materials from the local community. There is a document, it's displayed here, from the 1940s that details each donation, who made it, when, including the lot that the log building was constructed and individual logs for the construction. On December 23rd, 1941, the parcel was conditionally deeded by local businessman Philip R. Whitley and his wife Ruth B. Whitley to O.A. Bridgers and other trustees of the American Legion Cedric Harris Post 148 in exchange for a consideration of $1.25, with the condition that the property should ever cease to be used as an American Legion post, it would revert back to the Whitley family or their legal heirs. This deed was subsequently recorded on August 10, 1944, and on February 6, 1947, the Whitleys deeded the unconditional title for the property for the consideration of just $200. Notable members of Post 148 include Walter Scarborough Sr., mayor of the town of Wendell from 1951 to 1953, and treasurer of the Wendell Chamber of Commerce. Philip R. Whitley, who deeded the property to the Legion. He founded the Wendell Tobacco Market and other local concerns. He's also president of the Wendell Chamber of Commerce. Then there's J.S. Jimmy Buchanan, who served on the Wake County Board of Elections and numerous Wendell and Wake County commissions and committees. Post 148 has served its community since 1923 with monthly meetings for all local Legionnaires, regular dinner gatherings for veterans, annual Memorial Day and Flag Day events to retire old flags in the fire pit, and funeral services for veterans. In addition, the Post has sent attendees to local parades as well as hosted events and distributed Sponsorship for local members of the ROTC program. A little bit about the architectural description of the building. The Post 148 is an 896 square foot log building, which was constructed, as I mentioned, around 1940. The core block of the building is 1 story tall, 3 bays wide, 1 room deep. The southeast rear block of the log is slightly smaller than the core block, but was built around the same time. The log construction is very unique in as it has saddle notches at the corners and concrete wood chinking between the logs. The building sits on its original fieldstone piers with 2 concrete block stucco piers, which were added later, obviously for support. It's very rare to see stone foundations. Most of the time they get ripped out in the last 50, 75 years, but that's how almost every building in Wake County was historically built. The main entrance is in the center core of this block, the center block. The flanking bays have 6/6 original wood sash windows. The rear block has that same amount of original windows as well. There is an unique interior brick chimney which tapers up around 2 clay crown tops, and it projects from the intersections of the front and rear ridge lines. The chimney base itself has an unusual brick fireplace underneath the building that was actually once used for outdoor cooking, I'm sure for events. Here's some other images of the rear. As you can see, very little changes, which is very rare, especially for a civic building that's been used by organizations and has turnover and things like that. These buildings we see change all the time, so this would probably be one of the most unaltered civic buildings in Wake County that we've come across. There's that. Probably not code. Code was 1936 in North Carolina. So you look at when they built that, you know, they just stacked. They knew what they were doing when they were constructing these historically. The 1-story front porch on the primary elevation has an asphalt shingled shed roof, which begins 1 foot up from the primary roof slope. The porch roof is supported by simple square wood posts and railings of wood 2x4s, which are also allow for this handicap accessible ramp. Attached to the railing on the ramp is a wood sign which states "Never Forget 9/11." At the rear elevation is a wood staircase with a small landing, which has a railing of horizontal wood 2x4s with metal rails for added support. And then to the right side is a staircase with a small privy, but it's no longer used, as we saw a second ago. Here's the simple floor plan. Obviously serves its purpose as a civic meeting hall. You've got your primary room with your porch right there, and then your kitchen area. Like I said, that was contemporary with the main construction in the rear. And here's your interior. Much like the exterior, your chinking is exposed right there. You know, it's great not to walk in there and not see drywall and something to see the original materials exposed. The front 2-panel door opens into this small room, approximately 35 by 25 feet. It's original wood floor, board and batten wood ceiling, and again, these exposed logs. At the rear of the room is a fireplace constructed of local gray granite block with a terracotta tile hearth. The exposed brick chimney projects from the top of the fireplace through the roof. The fireplace was converted from wood burning into a gas fireplace sometime in the last 50 years. And flanking the fireplace are wood 6-panel doors that lead to the rear block where the kitchen is located, which is 22 by 14. And here's an image of that area I was just describing right there. And then just here's that 22 by 14 area where the kitchen is located as well. And then a good shot from with the chimney being sort of over here to my right, looking back towards that front door where the main meeting area is. The Cedric Harris Post 148 is significant as an excellent example of the rustic revival style of architecture in 20th century log construction in Wake County. It is significant for its associations with the local veteran community in Wendell. These associations include the Post's involvement in the local community through events and services, and by providing a space for celebrations, mourning, and community connection. It's also significant as one of only 3 known examples of log civic buildings in North Carolina. You did hear that right, the entire state. That's not Wake County. And is a rare example of 20th century log construction in Wake County. The Post retains strong integrity of location, design, setting, materials, workmanship, feeling, and association. And as Brian mentioned, at its meeting on June 10th, the Wake County Historic Preservation Commission unanimously recommended that the Wendell Board of Commissioners designate the Cedric Harris Post 148 as a Wendell Historic Landmark and adopt the associated ordinance. And that is all I have for you. Do you have any questions for me?
All right, let's open the public hearing. Are there any questions from the board? All right, I guess not right at this time. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak?
Madam Mayor, Commissioners.
Give me your
I'm,
name and
uh,
address. Let me have
good.
your name and address.
I'm Jim Kelleher. I'm the privileged to be the commander of Post 148, and I'm happy to be here to talk to you today. Post 148 is your American Legion post. It says so on my hat, and on the hats of the folks back here who've come in to support this effort. And we also have our district commander recognizing it's important enough that we brought the big guns in to support this. Jeremy said, yeah, it was, our beloved hut was built in the 1940s, finished probably by World War I veterans. You heard that one of them that wasn't there is Cedric Harris, who died early in the morning of 1918 defending his wounded soldiers. He was awarded the Purple Heart and the Distinguished Service Cross, which is second only in standing for valor to the Medal of Honor. If you go down to the Wendell United Methodist Church, there's a window there dedicated to his memory. And Jeremy did a super job of telling you about the building and all of that. But just to take a little bit of time, what do we do? The post, your post, our post, sponsors probably 2 or 3 young men every year to Boys State and 1 or 2 young women to Girls State, where they learn how democracy is supposed to function and hopefully can bring that back and apply it. We sponsor a young man normally, once a year, one probably, to the Cadet Trooper program run by the State Highway Patrol. That's for young folks interested in law enforcement. We help support Corinth Holders, Junior ROTC, the Pirate Battalion. And we present awards to their graduating seniors. We recognize seniors at East Wake Academy, at East Wake High School, and Corinth Holders Senior High School for leadership and for civic and academic excellence. We participate in the Wendell Fall Festival. We did participate for a long time in Wendell 4th of July parade, but we don't have that anymore. As you heard, we represent the million-something Legionnaires at funerals for our Legionnaires. If the service that he's served with is not able to present the colors to his next of kin, we do that. We stand honor guard. We retire flags. I think we did close to 400 flags in the ceremony on Flag Day, the 14th. We have the Boy Scouts. We also sponsor a Boy Scout troop, and they come out. And we haven't lost a scout yet in the fire pit, and we hope to continue that. So that's basically what it is. The hut, we intend to keep that for generations to come. As we move on, you can see that we've got one World War II veteran still a member of the post. We've got some Korean War veterans in between, Vietnam War, and then into the recent ones. So we're always looking for new folks. But we intend to keep that hut in as good a repair as we can, especially with your help. And so Post would like to say thank you for listening to our presentations today. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Yes, ma'am. Give me your name and address.
Linda Newcomb, 10 West Academy Street here in Wendell. I have to say, I'm the cook, okay, for the hut. But I have to say, these are some of the greatest guys. And I unfortunately did not start going there until a few years ago. But I love these guys. They are so passionate about what we do and what we do for other veterans. The other thing the commander didn't really talk about, we have a Memorial Day service. When I first started, I also helped with making sure that there's the food available. When we first started, I was told 300 people. Well, this year we had less than maybe 50, maybe 60 people that came out. Now we make sure that everybody has plenty of food. and we advertise it, and we put flyers out. But we don't get the support from the community that we should be getting. And that's sad, because Memorial Day is to honor the ones who have given their lives. And I tell you, every one of us here who are veterans, if anything started, any crap started, we would give up our lives for this country, for our community, and for our families. That's just the way it is. So I hope you do really honor what they have said. This hut is small. Some of y'all have been in it, some of you haven't, but it is small. We don't have air conditioning in there. So it gets hot in there, very hot. We do have a pavilion in the back that whenever we have the Memorial Day, if it's raining, we have people that are in there. We provide the chairs and everything else. So there's a lot that we do. There's a lot of help that we need too, because we do not get any federal funding. We do not get state funding. Everything that we do is by our members and what we give them. So Memorial Day, we have a donation box. Sometimes we get good donations, but when we don't have people supporting us, I'm sorry, we don't get it. We have flags. Do y'all know that we sell flags? Do you know that we sell American-made flags and that we have all sizes and that they are high quality and a lot cheaper than what you can buy? Al has them at his office. So there's a lot of things that we do for this community, but sometimes we're overlooked, and that's sad. Okay, we lay down our time, our families, our communities to go and serve this country, and we're very proud of this country, and we're very proud of what we do, and we're very proud of being in Wendell. Like I said, I didn't know about it for a long time, and I am sorry I never did know it when I first moved here in '09, because I guarantee I would have been a member then. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening.
Your name and
My name is
address.
Jerry Fralick. I live in Wendell, and I'm a combat Vietnam veteran. And the thing that is important to me is, with all the building that's going on, not only around this area but in the state itself, I think it's important that we keep history intact as much as we can. It's not about me. I'm 79 actually this year, and we're not going to be around forever. I mean, even there's songs, you know, let's live forever or whatever. But it's important that we keep a focus on the history of towns, the local towns. And like I said, it's not about me and the older folks that are in our Legion, but it's the people that are coming up, the younger people that are coming up, and certainly the younger people that maybe not go into service, but are part of the Wendell community, and that they can appreciate the history and the people that have actually made Wendell what it is today. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, ma'am, I guess I'm the big guns. My name is Vicki Woodard, and I'm the American Legion North Carolina District 11 Commander. And on behalf of the Department Commander, Bo Durham, we would like to respectfully request that you approve the recommendation by the Historic Commission to make this a landmark here in Wendell. We would really appreciate it, and I know that our veterans and all of the veterans of North Carolina would definitely appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Anyone else? No one? Okay, are there any questions from the board before we close the public hearing? Comments? Well, I have a comment. I just want to personally thank all of you for your service. I know people say that, and I've had people tell me they don't think that's a sincere thing to say, but I really mean it. Thank you so much for all that you've done. It's tremendously appreciated. So, yes, thank you all very much. Okay, Gentlemen, what's y'all's pleasure? I think I closed the public hearing. If I didn't, I'm closing the public hearing. Okay.
I just quickly say, Mayor, I think this is an intersection of a whole bunch of things I care a whole lot about. Number one, historic preservation is the thing that this vote's actually about, so thank y'all. You're not a historic preservation group, but you appreciate the history of the building in addition to the work that you do as an organization, so thanks for sort of having multiple focuses and helping share the story not only of the building, Cedric Harris, but also what all of you do for our community, so thanks for giving us a chance to hear from you tonight. Second is just community and community service. Y'all are obviously a cornerstone of Wendell. Anybody that wears it around on their hat, I'm a fan. Give you a thumbs up any day. But also the just sense of community that is built through organizations like yours. That's what makes a town a community and a place that I think folks want to live. So thank you for being a big part of who Wendell is. And then finally, just echo the mayor. Thank you all so much for your service. Really appreciate you bringing this to us. Appreciate all that you all do and appreciate you being here with us tonight. Happy to make a motion when you're ready for one.
Ready, let's hear it.
Less prepared. despite
I'll
being
make a
happy.
quick comment and then buy you a little bit of time. I'll just say it was really cool to see the list of founding members, a lot of history there for sure. I don't know many of you personally. I do know a few of you, and I do know that if I ever need anything related to presenting colors, saying the pledge, Al White is the first man that I will ever call, and he will always be there. Obviously, through the chamber, we know Roger very well, but can certainly count on him to be available at any time. So think the world of what everybody does, and appreciate you speaking on awareness, because I think that's important. And I will personally do my part to get the word out about the flags. Big flag guy. I don't know if you've been by my house on 3rd Street, but I tell everybody, they're like, where do you live? I'm the guy that has the flagpole and the flag on my house and probably a flag on my car and probably an extra flagpole if my wife would allow it. But big flag fan, so thank you very much.
Speaking of flags, in partnership with the VFW, our town flags, we work through y'all. So thank y'all for that. Whenever one, due to natural or unnatural causes, becomes tattered, we offer proper disposal and replacement. So thank you, Alan and crew, and all the familiar faces out there. We appreciate you.
One quick response for Linda. I personally love your hot dogs. I've been there several times and tried them. And I'll ask whoever your social media person is, send me something, and I'll make sure we get the word out too for the town, because I do think they need to hear more about what you guys are doing. If you'll make that post and send that to me, or before you leave, I'll give you my number. We'll handle that easily. Thank you.
All right, anything else? Okay, let's hear it.
Mayor, I move that we adopt the ordinance to designate American Legion Cedric Harris Post 148 at 5100 Wendell Boulevard as a Wendell Historic Landmark.
All right, so we have a motion to adopt the ordinance that would designate the American Legion Cedric Harris Post 148 at 5100 Wendell Boulevard as a Wendell Historic Landmark. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Did y'all want to take a picture real quick? I think someone asked about a picture. Yeah, let's take a picture. Are you the official photographer tonight?
You wear so many hats.
And,
You do it all, man.
where do you want to be? You get in front of the flag?
By the flag, duh.
Go on the right side this
Over
time.
here by the flag.
You want chairs out of the background? Yeah, let me get. last night. It was good too. Tell him what you want.
Well,
I'll bite my tongue. Jeremy, bring us a few more of these.
Okay. I'll be here in 2 months or something.
Good to see you.
All right, item 6A is a fee waiver request for annexation and rezoning of 529 Eagle Rock Road.
Good evening, Mayor and board members. This request is before you is from ESP Associates on behalf of NC DEQ. They are working on a project at 505, 525, and 529 Eagle Rock Road to reduce human health risks by connecting downgradient neighboring properties that rely on well water to convert them to municipal water. There is actually a leaking underground storage tank located at 505 Eagle Rock Road, which is right at the intersection with Rollsville Road, Wendell Boulevard. There was a former Texaco station there. The petroleum leak was reported to DEQ back in 2003. There's continuing soil and groundwater monitoring in that area. The groundwater does flow underneath to 525 and 529 Eagle Rock Road, which are currently reliant on well water. To reduce the risk, ESP is working with DEQ to connect those properties to municipal water. 505 Eagle Rock Road and 525 Eagle Rock Road are already in our city limits. 529 is actually in Wake County's jurisdiction and needs to be annexed and rezoned to the town of Wendell. So the state DEQ is actually paying for the water connection. That's legally what they're allowed to do, is help in a situation like this for the cost of municipal water. Private development is running sewer in that area as well. It's anticipated that those properties will also connect to municipal sewer and pay for that on their own. DEQ is just able to pay for the water connection. The fees for annexation is $350, for rezoning is $600. The individual property owner at 529 Eagle Rock Road would have to pay those fees, and ESP and the state are asking that those fees be waived to assist the customer who will be connecting to municipal sewer in the future with their own funds. Staff is supportive of this request. Goal 3 of our plan, infrastructure, transportation, and the environment, is through the strategic plan is to develop and maintain infrastructure and policies to support new growth, improve the quality of life for residents, and provide for a clean and green environment. In this case, those residents on well water will have access to municipal city water that's monitored, safe, and contaminant-free. So I can field any questions that you have for this request.
All right, any questions from the board? Yeah.
Just a quick one. There's another parcel between 525 and, let me make sure I get these addresses right, between 505 and 525, that's 513, is owned by the same owner as 525. I just want to make sure somebody's not getting skipped over. I assume that's all included in this work. Okay.
Anyone else?
One statement, Madam Mayor. I think this is one of the most important things that good governance can do. I mean, I like to think we always vote to help and do the right thing and provide quality of life improvements for the people that we have jurisdiction over. But literally, this is life and death. This is someone who's drinking potentially water that could be contaminated, and we can offer assistance to help that. Absolutely, I'm in favor of this request. Thank you.
One additional question, Mayor.
Uh-huh.
Is there any historical precedent recently that y'all were able to find in sort of preparing this for similar fee waivers?
We did a fee waiver for the Hero Home, for the Home Builders Association, for the home. Twice we've done that, one in Wendell Falls, one on Old Zebulon, Mackenzie Meadows. In this case, you all have the authority to waive a fee. Staff is not, but we thought this was an environmental quality item. It did match strategic plan initiatives, and the fees overall minimal in our fee structure for the planning department.
And just, I think with that long-term precedent piece in mind, just, I feel like it's worth saying out loud, there's no expectation or interest that's been expressed so far to you from the property owner at 529 of redeveloping that property.
Not at this time.
This is not a workaround to get free annexation the same way that I don't want somebody with a big farm on the side of town to come in and say, well, I want to get annexed for free because I got one old house that's beat down I need some water to.
We have had no conversations or pre-submittal meetings for development on 529 Eagle Rock. We have had conversations with 505 as they have struggled there's a well there, and if you look at that property, it's 100% paved. And so if they need to fix that well, there's always the lack of land available. So that's the conversations we've had at 505 is how do they continue, and this kind of helps them as well.
Make a motion.
Okay. Yep, go ahead.
I would move that we approve the fee waiver request for the annexation and rezoning of 529 Eagle Rock Road.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the fee waiver request for 529 Eagle Rock Road. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Item 6B is a resolution authorizing the town manager to sign the disposition contract with Wake County for the purchase of approximately 32.246 acres of property adjoining Wendell Park.
Good evening.
Yes. Exciting.
Exciting time.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we can start building athletic field complexes and new recreation centers, got to have the dirt. And so it's that time. So that's what I'm here for. The property just to the west of us is the old Wake Equity property. Wake County bought that 121 plus acres using their open space bond funds. The town is looking at purchasing 32.246 acres approximately for active recreation. That's not an allowable use under their bond funds. Therefore, we need to reimburse them the cost that they bought the property at per acre for the non-qualified use. The remaining 88.875 approximately acres will remain in the Wake County Open Space Program. Part of our disposition agreement is that the whole property will be annexed into the town. That helps with public safety jurisdictional issues on the property. There is an existing sewer easement that crosses. There's a plan for Buffalo Creek Greenway to go across this property, as well as to connect into the athletic field complex and recreation center in the future. The cost per acre, $13,906, was established by the original purchase price. So the total estimated cost, if you do that math, is $448,430.61. If it's that exact acreage, the exact number will be based on final acreage. Reserve fund was the identified purchase source when we talked a couple years ago about this property, and remains so today. Within the disposition, the agreement, it requires that there be a resolution that y'all authorize me to sign. So there's a resolution that we're asking for you to approve, for me to sign the disposition agreement. We cover the conveyance expenses with this. There is a period of time for us to do due diligence on the property prior to closing. That date will be updated in the agreement prior to final signing. And the annexation agreement is part of that as well. Customary with something like this is a first right of refusal. If we ever try and, or if some future owner tries to use the property other than this express public recreation purpose, then the county has first right of refusal, an option to acquire the property back into open space program. For people at home, that's a very tiny map with very tiny words. The two parcels are to the top right corner. The hashed lines kind of going diagonally across the property are the existing sewer easement. Pretty much everything to the jagged line on the left side of that property is floodplain along Buffalo Creek. Big trees, floods regularly, and big storms. Not usable. The area that we're looking at is the old farm site. It's been disturbed, it's been plowed, there's young trees there. It's appropriate for redevelopment for recreation facilities. Glad to answer any questions you may have.
All right, any questions from the board?
I'll just make a quick comment for those at home. The small map that you see, you can go to the townofwendelnc.gov. You can click on the government tab on top. You can go to your agenda packet, and you can see said map at home. So feel free to take a look at that. Anything else we're talking about tonight?
I'd also say that our current projects page on our website has been updated recently, and it includes the athletic field complex and recreation center, which beyond this also. So
Development map.
more to
I'll talk
come
about that
in
later,
coming
actually.
meetings. Yeah.
I actually had someone contact me recently about a development, and then he contacted me back about this. He was very excited, so, because he saw it as well.
I'm very excited too, and happy to make a motion if you're ready for one, Mayor.
Let's hear it.
I'd move that we authorize town manager to sign the disposition contract with Wake County for the purchase of approximately is a weird way to word that, but 32.246 acres of the property. Do I have to read it down?
No.
Okay, adjoining Wendell Park.
Okay, so we have a motion to authorize the town manager to sign the disposition contract with Wake County for the purchase of approximately 32.246 acres of land for parks and recreation use. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you so much.
We're going to move into our commissioners' reports, and we will start with Commissioner Eatman.
Nothing for me tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Commissioner Honeycutt.
Want to thank Commissioner Eatman on that. Just for you guys to watch this, it's great when the board works together, and obviously my intent, I didn't think that property's going to be redeveloped anyway, given where it was, but great catch. We don't want to establish a workaround. We want to provide a health benefit, but not a workaround to a developer. And I think, thank you, sir, for that catch. Thank you for that statement, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Deloach.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Real quick, as promised, I've gotten a couple questions. I get these questions all the time, but recently made me think about it again. I've sent the link out. I get questions all the time, hey, what's going over there? Or have you heard what's going over here? We hear a lot of things, but understand in the retail world, in the commercial world, we kind of find out same time you do, a lot of cases. I think back to when we were in the old town hall and we all found out about Bojangles at the same time when we happened to stumble upon it at the same time. So we don't really commit to commercial retail stuff. Things change. We know about it when you know about it. That being said, we do have a cool development map that is available. I can tell you that the easiest way to find it is simply go to Google, Google Wendell Development Map, and you will see that it is, I think the first thing it pulls up, interactive development map. It's right there for you. Very cool. Something we created a few years ago for transparency. We were getting a lot of requests and questions, and so it's great information. So if you ever have questions, Wendell Development Map, go to the Google, as they say. Check that out. So lots of cool information there. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Real quick reminder, we've been on a little hiatus. The Wendell Market's going to start back before our next meeting, so I wanted to give you a quick reminder of that. It's going to be on August the 7th from 6 to 9 on Campen and Depot, where it's always been, and it will continue August, September, October, and November, the first Thursday night of every month from 6 until 9 through November. So go out, do some shopping, have some fun with some friends, hang out in our beautiful downtown. It's a great little market. Probably do some Christmas shopping there, maybe. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor, I move we adjourn.